The beauty of the discussion and the presentation of the Vice President Sara, is that she actually admitted the problems without sugarcoating it. And that I admire. The first step towards change is really admitting there is a problem with the system. And she said that, no, there's a problem with the system. We cannot blame the teachers. We cannot blame the school heads. Okay, we are placed in a system sometimes that we are forced to underperform. Let's talk about monitoring and evaluation processes and tools. This is a very new DepEd order. It was promulgated June 22, 2022. The new governing rule in terms of how you conduct your monitoring and evaluation. Okay, so this is called the Adoption the Basic Education Monitoring and Evaluation Framework. You look at DepEd Order 29 Series of 2022. Okay, because this is now the future of SMEA. How you conduct your SMEA should be aligned to this. Okay? It might be not implemented yet because they are having all their trainings and seminars, but you are part of the F&G Learning Hub. You are here to be more advanced than all those training. Okay? But this DepEd order is already available. No? And please, no, you read this very carefully because it will tell you how you should do the MEA. Okay? The SMEA. Okay. Let's start with the framework. Okay? So, ensure that the agency's plans, policies, systems, and processes are geared towards the achievement of organizational learning outcomes. Okay? The problem with SMEA, even before, I did a research paper with SMEA. And we have the tendency to actually just collect the information for the sake of collecting it. Honestly, these are problems that are existing. No? That up until now, even how much I preach about it, people don't understand. Usually, when we do SMEA, we tend to misinterpret information and even suppress information for the sake of sugarcoating that we are performing well as an agency. The beauty of the discussion and the presentation of the Vice President, Vice President Sara, is that she actually admitted the problems without sugarcoating it. Okay, and that I admire. Okay, the first step towards change is really admitting there is a problem with the system. And she said that, there's a problem with the system. We cannot blame the teachers. We cannot blame the school heads. Okay, we are placed in a system sometimes that we are forced to underperform. It should be that the SMEA should enable us to achieve our organizational and learning outcomes. Now, this is also important and related to the discussion of Ma'am Christy a while ago. Diba, you were taught by Ma'am Christy how to conduct your research paper and even talk about research agenda. Okay. Kato siyang research agenda that was promulgated 2016, no? And this is a very new agenda that you have to actually implement. So, honestly, wa pa gini siya na-implement. So, there's nothing to measure, no? And katong gi-share ni Ma'am Christy, that's very good because those are existing gihapon nga possible topics that you can pursue because honestly, the research agenda was not rescinded yet. No, that's really the existing research agenda that we have. But if you look at our plans, by virtue of the BEDP, this is the beauty of Secretary Briones' innovation. Kung wa magud mo nibasa sa BEDP, you cannot understand how important it was beautifully done. Honestly, my salute to Secretary Briones for creating a BEDP which was really excellently done. No, very research based. If you read the whole Basic Education Development Plan, that is the plan. No? For those who are not aware, this is the plan for the next 8 years. Okay? Because it was promulgated 2022, I think. No, they started doing it, but it was promulgated in 2022. And up to 2030, they have a plan as to how to improve education. Now, one of the things that was implemented there, or one of the findings there, wala na nang kuan ha? It is being removed now. The access, diba? Tulo man na ito, access, governance, and quality. No. But right now, there are already 4. Okay? There are already 4. And that is resiliency. And that is being added. And today, you will understand how the BEDP is designed to really align with our monitoring and evaluation. Because you cannot reach all those aspirations in the BEDP without aligning your school monitoring and evaluation system. Because the school monitoring and evaluation system is, imagine the agency as a horse. It is the reins, no? Kailan mo reins ka ng gunitanan for the horse that will steer the horse to the desired direction. So, all this intention, because all the rest in the bed P, yes, sakto Sir Raul, equity day, no? So, appeal ang equity and resiliency was recently added. That's correct. So, if you try to look at it, no, in terms of the range that will ensure that we reach our destination by 2030, the monitoring and evaluation system should be aligned. Now, the problem of the previous system is that, yes, we have a plan, no? Kung makinundom pa mo sa BESRA, okay? Kanundom mo sa BESRA and kato, and all those plans, no, that were intended to be achieved, no? Did we really achieve it? So, basically, there are problems as to the achievement of the goals. But the beauty of what we have now, kay they wanted to align also the monitoring and evaluation with our overall plans as an organization. Okay. So, kita di ay, when we conduct our SMEA, we should align ourselves with the basic education development plan. Okay? Failure to do that, okay, you are violating this DepEd order. Again, what DepEd order is this? It's DepEd order 29 series of 2022. Okay? Because we will see later on that this is a very specific DepEd order, no? That all our plans should be aligned. Okay, karon, mutan ako. Dimension mo gitong Sir Raul, 5 kabuok adding equity, pero ang governance Sir Raul, di ba, mura gitangtang? Do you know where it's placed? Okay? Mo nang ningon kog 4. Because the governance now is called an enabling mechanism. Okay? It's not already part of the intermediate outcomes. Because the idea here is there is a shift. No? There is a shift. Nga, the governance should encompass all enabling mechanisms. Like, how are you supposed to create quality if ang imong governance questionable? Do you understand? Okay? So, it is created to be encompassing. So, that's why there are still 4. We call that intermediate outcomes, no? And then the governance is something gi-integrate sa tanan. So, ensure that the agency's plans, policies, process are geared towards the achievement. Muna siya idea, no, for this new SMEA. And then, very beautiful ni ato ang BMF framework. You know why? Because the performance measures are very clear. No, exactly how you're going to measure each of the achievement of that particular target by 2030. Okay, that's the beauty of it. And then, ang number 3 is guide DepEd Bureau Services Regional School Division Office schools and learning centers in developing their respective M&E plan. Now, mga tanan ko, is your SIP, does it include all of this? Access, equity, quality, resiliency, and well-being, and then governance as an overall enabling mechanism? Are you already BEDP compliant in your SIP? Yes or no lang. Let's be honest lang ha, because we are from different regions, no? Ako, I would really say no sa amo ang division because I really check and read all the SIPs. There are 60 schools in our division and I really check them one by one. So, honestly, parihat ang tanan. But honestly, that's normal because even kaya nando mo sa RPMSP, that was promulgated using DepEd Order 2 Series of 2015. But when was it applied in the field? It took us around 3 to 2 years, no, to really implement fully the RPMS. The RPMS is really DepEd Order 2 Series of 2015. It was only at 2018 or 2017 or the RPMS PPST was promulgated. Okay? Wherein, ang original is we will be the one deciding what objectives we're going to place per KRA. But right now, you are advanced because you are part of F&G Learning Hub. So, be ready to overhaul all your SIP to be aligned with this. Okay? Diba? The problem with us before is we need to think about the indicators. We need to think about how we're going to measure it. But the beauty of the BMF framework now is that it tells us exactly how to do that. Diba? This might be a little bit technical in your part, but I I tell you honestly, these are very good research-based, no, thrust, no, that you can align your innovations. Now, my problem is this. Honestly, when I look at the field, they don't really align it with the BMF. Their initiatives are not aligned to the BEDP. That's why I'm really trying to make an advocacy here, especially in my YouTube channel. I'll be discussing later on the basic education development plan in a very simple way so that they can understand it. These are very good plans. And the basis for these plans were honestly very research based. And ako may salute to Vice President Sara, no, because for in her part, the things that she wants to address are really things that were aligned to the research findings of almost majority of all the research paper I've read, no, the recent research paper I've read. It is really the real problem. Okay. So let's talk about the framework. Okay? So nindot kini ang framework. If you just look at what is written, no. Okay, we are trying to compare, no, what is the ideal, no, what is written in the DepEd order and what is reality. But let's continue doing that because we are field personnel, no. So the BMF framework, no, should contribute to improve governance. Okay, how we govern things should be something that is integrated in all things. No, later on we will see that the enabling mechanism here is the governance. Okay, so that's why we need leaders who are open-minded, who are visionaries, who are passionate about the Department of Education, and not just on his or her personal interests. Okay, so that you could be the future of this department, no? Because one person who dreams of something better for the learners is not enough. The system is composed of many people. And we need more people who are passionate about change, no? So M&E should be development oriented. Okay? So muna akong gingon ha, M&E should be development oriented, but honestly when I look at the SMEA, when it falls on the hands of a wrong leader who doesn't listen, the concerns in the SMEA will always be the same. First grading, second grading, third grading, fourth grading. And in the second year, no, same CIGPs. Sometimes I will just say, what's the use of collecting all the CIGPs, no? When the problems it's just all the same problems all the time. And then M&E should be undertaken ethically. Okay? Question. Let's say, for example, you're monitoring and evaluation. Let's do it in the school level. The thing is that ethical? No? So, putting the learners in a bad light. Okay? So during your SMEA, you're not allowed to talk about each of the particular student in public. No? You can always ask, no, for help, but not for an offense. No? Mamayong ka, kanisya, nanunod ni siya. No? Kanisiya kay ni kuani. So all those things should be kept confidential. But if you were to ask nga if you can help us with this particular student, pangitaon na to, then we do home visitation. That's okay because that's not an offense, no? There's no offense there. No, we just wanted the child to be back in the school, which are two different things. Okay? If you actually undertake SMEA in a perspective of being unethical, no, that's wrong information already. Okay? Private information should be respected because we have RA 10173, no, which is the Data Privacy Act. Okay, we have to be sensitive. And remember, in RA 7610, the Child Abuse Act, psychological abuse is part of it. So even if you did not impose any capital punishment to the child, and you place the child in a bad light, losing his or her dignity, okay, that could be subjected to psychological abuse. So, a violation now of RA 7610, which is the Child Abuse Act. Okay? So, without a school head who will consistently remind our teachers regarding that, you have to be careful. That's why, in a sense, in your SMEA, in your data collection, you have to tell the teachers, you'd remind them of the laws that governs us. Kaya naabiya sige teacher nga, honestly, no? gahigig ulo. Okay? So you have to really put them under your control, if possible. Okay? Then M&E should be utilization oriented. Okay, what do you mean by that? The M&E data is strategically gathered to responsibly meet the needs of the organization. Okay, I remember our study. If you have time, please do read our study. It's published in the ASEAN Index CNU Higher Journal about SMEA. The collection, without even looking at the needs of the organization is honestly a big problem. Okay, ako honestly, if I were to really, kaniha wishful thinking na lang sad ba? If looking at our educational system ba, our real competition is not really the private schools. I've talked about this. The real competition that we have is Mobile Legends and other computer games and other vices that our learners would tend to patronize rather than going to school. So why not create a system, allowing students to enjoy, the perks of a game, in their instruction. And with the capacity of DepEd, I'm sure they can create that. That's very easy to create. You can integrate other assessment tools that are available to us. We have Quizlet, we have Quizzes. Here, if you find it difficult to use Quizzes, ang atong mga bata, kabaw man gani mo. You know how to use Quizzes, right? A little bit. Some of you might find it a little bit difficult, especially those who do it first time. But if you try to use it, you will get familiar with the questions. Diba? Did you notice that? But honestly, if you try to let our learners do the quizzes, even if it's assignment mode, they will enjoy it. They will really enjoy it. Okay? So if we have a more gamified way of putting all those things, in a sense, there will be a ranking of all students in Cebu, in Region 7, in a form of an overall platform of games, then imagine how much our learners would want to learn. And another thing, if there is something that we can measure, it's very important that we measure how much our learners are being exposed to classroom instruction. Because honestly, karon, tell me honestly, 'di ba hapit na ang unsa may hapit na? Hapit na ang palaro. Ang palarong pambansa. Are you aware of palarong pambansa? It will be held on maybe this April, I think. The timeline was discussed during our Mancom. So, what's the next activity in the school? Who can guess? Diba? You know what will happen next. So, we will have an intramurals. Selection dahil. May tag-selection lang, Sir Raul. Nindot kay selection lang. Diretso. But usually, they use that time for, there's a sports fest, Okay, honestly, if you look at the model of the Palarong Pambansa, there is a qualifying round because they don't want students to actually compete if they don't have chance to really compete in that competition. Pero you remember, pre-pandemic, di ba, nindot kay ang parade? The parade was very expensive na. But can you count how many classes were being sacrificed during that time? I have I have nothing against all those things because that is a chance for them to also show and share their talents in marching, etc. But as a school head ba, I remember manggod, a week for the intramurals, another week for the district meet, another week for the division meet. So 3 weeks of instruction was already at stake. Okay? But honestly, if you look at it in the format of the program before, you still remember that? In the intrams, usually activities like Mr. and Miss Intrams is integrated. Diba? And it's a fundraising activity. Okay. And then during the district meet, schools will be called out. There will be a a parade of the school, no? And even the school's participants during the district meet will be asked to do a parade, no? And we even reward those schools who have the most number of students. Now, let me ask you, who will chaperone the students during the night time, no? And during the time that they have to prepare. Okay? So again, there is a sacrifice in terms of instructional time, no? Now, let me ask you, if you're a school head who is hands-on, no? You try to check your grade 5 and grade 6 students now. We just had our FGD. And you know what we learned? Grade 6 and grade 5 students could not even read. Okay. How are you supposed to teach the curriculum in grade 5 and grade 6 level with students who can't even read, no? Who forgot how to read already because of the extensive time during the pandemic wherein there was no contact with the teacher. Okay? So that's where problems comes in. But if only we will let go of all those preconceived notions of how we do things. The palarong pambansa, according to VP Sara, should be done in such a way na we'll be able to identify which among them has a great chance of competing with other students. So, hopefully, ako wishful thinking na lang sad, hopefully there will be no parade, something like that nga. We're in maklaro man god kung kinsay kuwang mga eskwelahan and division office. Okay? But if we will adapt the pre-pandemic style of doing it, I'm sure there will be a great number of contact time will be lost again. And we cannot take this away from our learners, because some of them dili kay mo basa but very good in sports. So we recognize, okay, multiple intelligence. Okay, sige, go ahead. But that's a grade 6 student who cannot read. You cannot change that. Okay, kinesthetic. This is kinesthetic. But I think the idea of multiple intelligence should be in such a way na he is inclined to that, but he also knows how to read. No? Not just purely, how can the child be, at least be in grade 6 without even meeting all those necessary competencies, no? So, naunsa naman bulol is life here. So, that is what I'm trying to share to you, no? All these problems are existing, no? And we have to make sure unta, no? And honestly, the teachers are really suffering from this, all these competencies that were compromised during the pandemic. Okay, if only if there's something that we can do, if we can do magic on this. But honestly, the secret here is really contact time. We need we need our learners to have more contact time with their teachers. Okay, and somehow pray that they will be able to learn. We need to intensify strategies in learning. We need to intensify numeracy and reading, So all these things should be done. Okay? And hopefully, this BMF framework, as I look at it, could be an instrument to that. So, muna, utilization oriented. So, ikaw, as a school head. Now, by the way, I will spill this out to you. The indicators that we see here are agency level indicators. Okay? Minaw ha, because this will come out during the exam. These are agency level, meaning it is for the whole DepEd. But you as a school head should think about, how can I contribute to those indicators in such a way that I'll be able to help, So you can have your own indicators. Ako, honestly, if I were really to measure it, I would measure the contact time of the students to instruction. I will measure how many students have classroom, Because you cannot improve quality if they are just sitting there in a classroom packed together in a very small, room. So, ikaw sa imong school level, do you think the child will stay there for the whole day? You try to sit together with your students, You try that. And then some of them might be suffering from, and they are placed in a very small classroom, And then there's no standardized classroom for all of them, And how would you give good instruction in a classroom like that? So these are indicators that you can measure as a school head. And hopefully, when these concerns are voiced out in the higher level, it is heard, no? Not just negated and not just rendered void. Because sometimes our higher ups will just say, that's not reflected in your koan. So, okay, go ahead. We'll just leave that. We cannot do anything about it. But honestly, I'll share this to you. The division office has no powers to give you classrooms. There is hope because of the Mandanas ruling. No, so the Mandanas ruling actually place all the resources on the local government unit. Dili na siya sa central office. And hopefully, no, with our prayers, slowly change will come. Sige, ato nang tabang agampo kay mintas buhi pa ta, or we're still alive, there's still hope. Hopefully, no, for the coming years, it will be the Department of Education who will do the bidding, no? So, patay gining dili magtarong og himo og classroom, because what is at stake is the safety of our learners, no? So, if we kana school heads lang I would like to ask you, let's never put ourselves in those team ba nga kanang involved with corruption. Because honestly, if that's the case, ang kwarta gud nga para sa mga bata, makagaba gina, no? So if there's a money that comes to you out of corruption and depriving the learners, no, I'll tell you, it will disappear in an instant, no? It will disappear really. Mo na gitaw og kwarta sa hangin. Because bawion gyud siya sa Ginoo, no? So bawion gyud siya, no, in a form of takibaw, basta he has his own ways of doing it. Pero if you earn your money in your own way, no, imong hinaguan. No, gimo kag YouTube channel kung ganahan ka, pero gamay ra bitog kwarta ang YouTube channel. Or you find ways to increase your skills, no? So, on that way, you'll be more valuable, no? You'll have more salary. Just like what you're doing now, you're listening to us, no, sharing our insights, no? Become a better leader. If you have problems with money, you cannot really lead kay. You'll be easily tempted. That's why you have to have the item, no? Amo gina akong gibalik-balik ninyo. So work on that so that you won't be, if people will wave money in your face, you also wave them your own money, no? And slap that money in their face, no? That you will not be tempted anymore because you already have your own source of income. So timan igina, no, primordial importance is that you have to make yourself stable, because if you don't make yourself stable financially, you have no business helping others. Okay? Kay you will have to help them and ikaw niya tabanganan, no? You might be ikaw na yung mangutang, di ka mo bayad, no? So ulaw na ka, you don't have any kanang moral ascendancy to demand from your teachers. Okay? So, let's go now to very important principles. Now, remember the principles, because if you are given a situation and it violates the principles stated here, meaning you know how to choose. You know how to choose. So, it should be methodologically sound and appropriate. Oh, by the way, I really appreciate, no, if you kanang make your comments on the chat box. It makes me happy. It doesn't make me feel alone here talking. So I know you're participating. So I would like to thank those who are actively participating, no? Meaning you are listening, no? That's good. Now, these principles should govern the way you will decide. Later on, I really created new questions for you, no? So I would like to invite the previous batches to also answer these questions, because these are real questions that you might encounter, no? And the principles test is designed for you to make the necessary decisions upon situations. Okay, the M&E should be methodologically sound and appropriate. Okay, so it should be methodologically sound. I'll give you an example. You are asked how many school buildings are needed, no, in your division office. Okay, let's say for example, the mayor would ask you to collect information. How are you going to collect the number of classrooms that are missing, no, in the whole division, Now, here's the thing. Some of the schools, especially those who are near the highway, has excess buildings. Okay? They have excess buildings. Now, there's another school, a nearby school. Actually, layo, mga 5 kilometers, but it's considered nearby. Okay? It has lacking classrooms of 5 classrooms. The other one is excess of 5 classrooms. Question, how are you going to report? How many classrooms do you need? Okay? Use the chat box. Let's say for example, the division has only 2 classrooms lang. 2 schools. No? Kuha lang hypothetical question. So what will you report? No? Pagkatanon ka, how many classrooms does your division need? Okay? What will be your answer? Okay, the other one. Sige. Pila ito sobra sa usa? Okay. So, Ma'am Jen is 3 to 5 classrooms. Okay, ang usa sobra og 5. Atong balikon ang question na. Sobra og 5. The other one is kuangan og 5. So, question is, how many classrooms do you need? Okay. So, okay. So, mga bright gining taga F&G Learning Hub. Uy, liwat kimo sa inyo mga mentors, no? Okay. The thing is, you cannot transfer a classroom to another school. Diba? So, basically, if you deduct the excess number of classrooms, no, to the number of classrooms that you need, you can never transfer an extra classroom to another school. Unless there will be migration, no? At tanan kanang napikas diya nga classroom, at tanan nga students from this school will transfer to this. You can never transfer a school. So therefore, methodologically sound is important, no? That you have to understand the overall situation. Okay? But the problem sometimes with the central office is they just look at the students ratio. Now, I'm sharing to you real problems, ha? Okay? Real problems wherein they just look at the LIS and look at your students ratio. Okay? So, I would like to tell you, no, honestly, and share this to you as school heads who are part of this family. Remember this, ha? If the classroom is not occupied by students, do not declare it in your LIS. Okay? For example, the classroom is being used as the principal's office and faculty room. Do not declare it as a classroom. Because they will just look at your standard ratio and they will think nga you have enough classrooms. Okay? So, that is one thing. And then, if the classroom is divided into 2, do not consider it as 2 classrooms. Okay? There is a standard size for a classroom. Later on, you will have your session on that. Exactly what is the standard 8 by 10 man siguro na meters. That is a standard classroom. If it's already a divided classroom, meaning a classroom where you have a divider, I've experienced that before, do not declare it as a normal classroom, ha? Please, no? Because if that's the case, then the central office will not consider you as lacking classroom. And then, the good news is, no, mora ni prayer lang sa nako. Sarah has really identified the number of classrooms that are missing. Pero remember, okay, thank you Sir Raul. 7 to 9 di ay no? Meters ba na Sir Raul ang kuan? So I think you will have a session on this kanang i-discuss gid ninyo ang mga standards like naanay colors ha. I notice ang colors sa inyong mga classroom, naanay green, naanay mga blue, no, naanay mga multiple kuan diha. So science no kaning ato ang mga supervisors ba sayop ang ihatag mga inputs without even looking at the standard colors for classroom. Kita mo private school nga daghang kay color ang classroom. Di mo kitaan na because honestly there's a standard no color for each classroom. So pwede na nimo siya punan no, and then kanang 7 to 9 that's the standard. No. So according to Sir Raul, that's meters. So please no, if it's not compliant to the standard, do not declare it as a classroom. Okay? Just declare it as a makeshift, no? Bahala na sila diha basta dili na siya standard classroom if it doesn't fit, no? So at least when they look at the information, you'll be able to justify that you really lack classroom. Now, if you have already inputted data in your LIS and EBIS, muna, it's very important that you are really hands-on on the LIS. Because if there's wrong information provided, unsa na gyud knowledge atong teacher, no? Or regarding this. And then, muna, I would like to really compel everyone to learn technology. Because you have an account in the LIS. Who of you really logs into your LIS and to your EBIS account, no, to ensure that the data is correct? That is your command responsibility. So, bisag mutuwad pa ka diha or mutumbling, whatever you do to get a classroom, if your data in the EBIS and the LIS does not support that, mo na result, no? And if you don't encode your students in the LIS, it will have a drastic effect. Okay? So, remember that always, ha? That is something kanang sometimes we are now fighting, no? I'm currently trying to communicate, no, with, I actually have friends with the central office nga mga mga classmates nako sa Saldiwa and Lagabay. Okay, so we're just having a wishful thinking. We can advocate on proper interpretation of information. Okay, so hopefully they will also follow this. Kamusad, no, in the field, no, kita sad in the field, you should be able to follow this. Okay, that's why importante sad nga you have basic knowledge on research, and also at the same time you know how to interpret information. M&E should be operationally effective, no? It should operate, no, wherein it should be made it should be enabling in the part of the school. Okay, that's why later on in your part, I think I mentioned about contextualized indicators. What particular indicator would you want to measure? You have to measure that. Okay, kita as school head, you are allowed to make your own, no, but you have to justify its alignment to the overall. Okay, so shared responsibility. No, everyone should be accountable. Everyone in the school should be accountable. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, I want you to memorize all these important terms. Like, for instance, you have a goal, sector outcome, intermediate outcome, and enabling mechanism. Okay, so kanang intermediate outcome, that is what we want ourselves to become. No, we will define that in the next part. Okay, so ato lang mo man mga importante kaayo, and then enabling mechanism. So the goal represents the contribution of the department in achieving societal aspirations. So what do we intend to achieve? Of course, we want to eliminate poverty. No? We want everyone to be educated. That is the contribution of the Department of Education. That is a constitutional right we want everyone to have. Okay? And then sector outcome, no, represents the result that the DepEd would like to attain as an organization, includes strategic directions and agenda of the department. But the IO, no, the IO or the intermediate outcome represents what DepEd as an organization endeavors to be while inside the basic educational system. What does that mean? Who will you be in the system? No, what kind of DepEd should we create? No? So muna IO. The enabling mechanism, no, mo ni siya ang governance, no, defines the necessary governance structure in terms of leadership, investment, management system, partnership, external relations that will ensure effective, efficient, and responsive delivery of basic education needs of the learners. Mo ni akong giingon that the governance is now integrated in all the intermediate outcomes. Okay? The EMS or the enabling mechanisms is designed to create the enabling conditions. So the governance is the framework, no, that will govern. No, in short, this is the system. So we envision the system to help us achieve the intermediate outcomes so that we can achieve both our goals and our sector outcome. That's how important this is. Okay? And then discuss naman to nato ganina. What are the different intermediate outcomes? You have to master this, and there are 4, no? So, ani man gina, ang goal nato is to all Filipinos are able to realize their full potential and contribute meaningfully to a cohesive nation. So, whatever student we have, iyag yung pinakatumoy sa iyang potential, he can achieve that. That's our goal. Our sector outcome is that basic education Filipino learners have physical, cognitive, socio-emotional, moral preparation for civic participation and engagement in post-secondary opportunities in their local, national, and global communities. Now, take for example, the so-called kinesthetic nga bata nga inyong gimension ganina. Sir, okay ra na siya, sir, kay kuan man na, kinesthetic man ng bata, ah? No, pungutan na. No? Okay, physical, check. How about the cognitive? No? Question mark. Okay. Sige, papilon lang tanaw og kuan. So that's where our sector outcome fails. No, grade 6, no, capable of really performing in the basketball court, no, three-pointer, just like ni Pastor Kibuloy, no, may kay mo shoot og kanang 3 points, bisag matug pa, he can shoot it. So he's very important, no, there. But as to cognitive domain, no, what will be his contribution? No? How about socio-emotional? Will he have the skills to interact, and can he be very flexible enough if he encounters problems? That is included. And then moral preparation. Remember, intelligence without ethics, no? Intelligence without emotional intelligence, no? Just mere intelligence is dangerous. Okay, daghang kay ana bright lang pero walay kaluoy. No? Bright lang but doesn't know how to think about the learners. Okay? So you've seen leaders who can do that. No? They are very smart but they lack passion and love for the people. Okay? So what will happen? Of course, they will become leaders, no? Because they are smart. They can pass all the exams. Pareha karon, no? Daghang kayo ka nang ni-take sa exam. Daghang ni-take sa exam. The question is, do they have the moral preparation? Do they have the social-emotional preparation? Or are they just going to be there to dominate more people? That is our role as a teacher. No? Muna giingon nga, sakto ganyan giingon Ma'am Tresita, edukado na walay grado gihapon, no? So some of them like dili lang ko mingon ha, but even lawyers, no, you look at lawyers na good, but they lack the passion, no, and love. So they are now called liars, no, instead of being called lawyers, no? So that's the thing. Okay, that's the thing. So we have to create students who are capable of all of this. And we have to strike that balance, no? And engagement in post-secondary opportunities in local, national, they should be engaged, no? We want to create students who are engaged. So how do we achieve this? Now, you are having now the big picture. This is how we want our learners to be. They reach their full potential. They'll be able to be a balanced student, no? In all of those aspects. They have emotional intelligence. They know how to, they are morally upright. They are physically upright. At the same time, no, kanang a term, no, it's well-rounded. That is what we want to do. But the intermediate outcomes that we want to create is that you should create the Department of Education, no, and allow access to our learners. Okay, karaan naman yung access, but honestly, right now, the way we place the CR, no, is that having education accessible to our learners. No, ako kung kayon kay ko, I still want to listen to my professor. So if I will have to go out from the classroom in order to really urinate, because that's a call of nature, or basig sobra pa sa urinate, no, what will happen? I will miss that very important discussion. No? So where is access now? There are two kinds of access, by the way. We have psychological and we have physical access. No, so we want to make sure that education is accessible to anyone. Okay, the location of the schools is part of access, no, and then making it available to everyone who wanted to really enroll. Okay, so that's our major principle, no, one of our intermediate outcomes. Okay, so later on you will look at situations and try to see which among this is violated. No, let's look at equity. No, do you still remember? No, sa unang panahon we have a lot of equity issues. Remember. Kinsa may nakasway diri nga sinong sorry English na lang nako who have experience here a situation wherein your teachers will require you to bring floor wax and lantern, no, during Christmas. Or some of us will be required to buy a worksheet from the teacher. That is an equity consideration. You know why? Because you will give plus points, of course, to those who will be able to bring floor wax, lantern, and then those who can buy the worksheet for 1 peso. That is, you are depriving those who cannot afford. That's a very basic concept ba? But still, no, according to Ma'am Jen, still existing pa rin. So, kita, school heads we have to really remind the teachers about equity, no? Disadvantaged school age children and youth and adults benefited from appropriate equity initiatives. Kana lang, simple lang kaayo, in your classroom, you should not delineate students who can afford and cannot afford. If you have a project wherein you will require students to have a video, of course, who can afford a video camera? Or you have to check if everyone has a camera, then okay ra, larga. And everyone knows how to edit videos, okay, larga. So that's equity considerations. These initiatives, we want freedom given to all students regardless of their amount of money in the pocket, their family background, whether they are male or female, no? Ang uban kay kuan man kay because they are female, sometimes they are deprived, no, because of the words that we use in our exam. It is gender biased. So you should not discriminate among them. And also at the same time, there is a boy problem. Now, the boy problem exists. Like for instance, boys usually are more inclined to cut classes rather than their female counterparts. Okay, so take note of these issues. No, you have to be very sensitive with this. Okay, quality. Nasan yung quality? Question here, quality. Again, no, katong grade 5 child, grade 6 student who doesn't know how to read. That's part of quality here. Resiliency and well-being. Learners are resilient and know their rights. So, the quality, I think I don't need to discuss kay you know how important this is, no? And then, students who are not given the opportunity to really learn, no? Because they are too busy with extracurricular activities. Resiliency and well-being. Kaninoon, that could be addressed by attending competitions like, for example, no, you can play kanang sa si Veraa, si Indaa, or district meet because that's part of taking a challenge, no, winning, no, and the life skills because these are actual protection. Pero you should make sure that it doesn't also violate the enabling mechanism or the intermediate outcomes for quality. Because if you don't do that, you are already violating a very important intermediate outcome that you intend to achieve. No? Okay, so muna na akong giingon ganina, no? That's why I mentioned it's 4 because the governance level is distributed among all of them. Okay, so it is actually the thing that governs all the 4. Okay, because that's really correct. The governance is integrated in quality. Okay, how do you ensure in your school, in your level of governance, that our students will have more contact time with their teachers? Ako sa una, I would like to share to you my strategy, no? I have a centralized sound system. Dili sa ko magsigig announce, no? But the centralized sound system will bell or will have a cue, no, every period yun. That is a signal for teachers to move from one classroom to another. No? Then 5-minute break and then another period with them. Okay? And then I installed system of monitoring as to the contact time. No? Then I make sure that there is a discussion, no writings, no copying of writings to the board because books are all distributed. Okay? Okay, na sila term, no? The students have this so-called motto. 4 years of copying, at last graduating. Have you heard of that? No? So, 4 years of copying, at last graduating na kuno. So, these are realities, no? Our teachers might know because of our lack of monitoring sometimes. So, we cannot blame our school head also because just imagine, no, during the pre-pandemic, we'll have to attend many meetings, many seminars. If only na kanang funds used to that was poured into wishful thinking na sad ta, ha? If only ba those funds used for trainings and pulling out the teachers, why not create a job embedded learning modality, no? Using online tools, platforms that you can learn something at your own pace. Like you just watch a video here or a video and then you ask a question na quiz inig human. If you achieve all the necessary competencies, then you'll be issued a certificate immediately. You don't have to be pulled out from your station, no, just to have it. Pero usay nindot sa ning ma-pulled out kay lami kay pagkaon, yeah. Magawas ta pero kaniba, these are small sacrifices. Nga unta ba bisag karon lang pre-pandemic, post-pandemic wherein we know that there is a lot of at stake, no? So pwede sana siya, okay na siya, pero pulling out the teachers from the field, no, for seminars, honestly maglabad akong ulo ana as a school head ba, because I need to make sure that all the classes really, ako sa una, this is my intent yun, all the classes really are really filled up. My own indicator is that if that in that particular day all schools, all classes should be attended to by a teacher. Okay, if I have to be there to replace the teacher because he is not there, I will take the place, no, a chance for me to really share something, no. The only opportunity for our learners to learn is when they are in contact with the teacher. Okay, may tag independent learning na nga parihara nato nga if we read we can learn a lot, no, so that's good. The thing is, imagine how much they have to learn from us, okay, from us teachers. So we need really to put these mechanisms in place. Okay, so I'm just talking about this as a governing mechanism for equity. Can you issue a memorandum, in a school memorandum, reminding the teachers regarding equity? Sa mga bawal nga mga kuan, dili mo magpadalag floor walks. No, your influence is very huge in this case. So your governance at this level really matters, di ba? On resiliency and well-being, no, do you teach them life skills? No, how do they deal with bullying? No, how do they deal with do you actually, ako no, if I only have a choice, I will add another subject, no, but I will remove all the unnecessary subjects. Actually, the in other countries, the subjects that really matters are math, science, and English, no? And then Filipino, pwede na siguro na i-integrate na lang, no, as kuan, pero sorry na lang ha, bias siguro ni akong statement. This is just my own opinion. Pero we have to really reduce the subjects as much as possible. Okay, some of us are biased with our subjects. We might want our respective subjects to be kuan, especially if it's our major, no? But you really look at other countries, their subjects really are reduced to the minimum. But if there's one subject I want to add, it is study skills. No? Study skills. That's very important. For me, that's the most important subject. Up until now, I'm still learning about it. Okay? In this subject, you teach the students how to memorize things. No? You teach them about, if you heard about this, you can research mnemonics. No? You teach them life skills. How do you say no if someone will tempt you to take drugs or to smoke? Okay? How do you read properly? No? How do you do skimming? How do you do fast reading? No? How do you use technology in order to aid your learning? How do you take down notes? So these are topics that you can use, no? How do you motivate yourself to continue going to school, to achieve your dreams? So these are supposedly topics that a child should learn. But look at our subjects. We just integrate all these things. And usually they are kanang forgone already. Okay? So, correct. Kanang how to become rich. Okay? So, di man yung rich is negative, no? How do you really manage wealth? No? So, all these things like financial intelligence. Okay, honestly, our teachers really has problems with financial intelligence, no? So, we need to capacitate them. No? Make sure nga dili ra 5,000 na lang ilang madala. Okay? And how do they pull themselves out from debt? No? So all these are life skills, kung pwede, should be included, no, in the topics. Honestly, ma'am, that's a very good topic because these are things that are vital for them. Financial literacy. How to deal with problem. Okay, imagine that. These are topics no nga dapat unta there. No, life skills lang gid siya. Okay? Even ganing mga Japanese children, in their first years, they are not taught any lesson. They are just given life skills. Okay? So, if you look at the best educational system that we have, all of them are have this innovative style of really addressing their ang Filipino manggod mura tag ka ng kumakwangan ba mura ganing obsessive compulsive style nga we have to cover everything ang resulta wala mura wala no so we have to be innovative. Let's look at the best educational system in the world. Let's just not follow what America does because America is not the number one in terms of educational system. No, for God's sake, no. You look at America, di ba? Do you think they are number one? Ang number one in terms of educational system is always Finland, no? In Finland, they have playground time. They have playground time. And their subjects are only 2 no, per day. They don't actually spend much. They let the children play. In Japan, life skills, no? Life skills and then specialization. Igabo to grade 4. That's why a grade 4 Japanese child can actually repair a radio already. No? Then you talk about South Korea. South Korea, bali sa nila South Korea. It's the complete opposite of Finland, but they are still the best. Now, in South Korea, their classes will start at 6 in the morning, will end at 12 o'clock in the midnight. No? Because they will have language subject during nighttime. That's why if you look at a Korean child, sometimes they are fighting for their rights because they seem to feel that they are deprived of being a child. Okay? So, kita mo rin ng ambisyon mahimong South Korea but dili lang kay pareha o ganang level of implementation ba. Okay? Ang resulta na noon, because the target of South Korea is really social pressure. Now, that's how they do it. In South Korea, if you don't send your child to school, you will be announced by the government and the government will really go to your house. No? And they will really do some public shaming. No? But that's integrated in their culture. Sige. I'm just sharing to you these insights, no, because leaders should be visionary and you should be also able to visualize what happens, what other countries are doing in other nations. Okay? So, thank you sa mga ni-share, no? Finland, Ma'am LP, Ma'am Deborah. Okay? Finland, 3 days work days, then no grade. Yan lang sa nilang style. But they have standardized test, di ba, ma'am? Walay grado, pero they have a standardized test to measure later on, no, in the later parts of each stage. And they really perform well. Okay? Sige. Okay. So, these are if you look at the framework, no, this is the basic education monitoring and evaluation framework, ha? Okay, so memorize lang ang access, equity, quality, resiliency, and well-being. And your next SIP should involve the 5 things, no? Ang 4 are the intermediate outcomes. And for each of the intermediate outcomes, you should discuss your enabling mechanisms for each. How do you enable access? How do you enable equity? Okay, but there are specific enabling mechanisms sa atong i-discuss diri tanan. Alright? Sige. So actually gamay na lang we will be discussing a little bit about the BIME framework, but basically the enabling mechanisms has already been set. That's the beauty of what you call koan. That's the beauty of the framework, no? And the BEDP. The BEDP actually already specifies what kind of enabling mechanism does it want you to create. Okay? So the enabling or the intermediate outcomes are considered 4, no? And then we have already extensively discussed this, no? So first one is that there is access, no? Regardless of sex, religion, geography. That's why we have madrasa, di ba? And then whatever their disposition is. And then we also have for 2, sa balik ta ha. We have ensure that equity considerations are being considered. So we have to make sure that those who are considered vulnerable groups like the indigenous people, the those who are under poverty, no, will be able to be given. They will be given the chance. No, even though the disabled, okay, we should, because they also deserve to learn from our system. Okay, from our educational system. Okay, so make sure that no child is left behind. But this is usually misinterpreted. We usually saying no child left behind means we pass every child, no, which is a very wrong concept sometimes. If you look at our SMEA system, okay, this has been my observation with some of the, I've really tried to correct this, the tendency of the heads, no, to really avoid those failing marks. So the problem with that is we tend to pressure our school heads to just pass all the students, and which is sometimes manifestation of koan. So as mentioned, no, kaning in intermediate outcomes too, this is taking into consideration all the disadvantaged groups. Okay, so like children from geographically isolated disadvantaged areas. No, how do we ensure that all of them will be able to be given the opportunity to go to school? Okay, and all the rest. And also, we have to ensure that quality is being done. Okay, high quality of education is being done, like attributes to pursue their chosen paths. So money shiny supply for having them achieve their full potential. And the intermediate outcome for is that we will be able to create resilient learners who are capable of protecting themselves and also their education rights, and other duty bearers to promote learners' well-being. Okay, and even thrive, no, and exercise their rights. Learners potentially exposed to hazard shall be capacitated to adapt. So basically, it's really life skills, no, that you'll be able to adapt. No, imagine, being a student is not easy. No, it has a lot of challenges. Okay, I can attest to that because right now I have 8 subjects to study, and I also have work, no, and I also teach in Cebu Normal University. So being a professor, being a student at the same time is not easy, and you have to have the necessary skills to survive that. Sometimes maabot na lang ka sa point nga you will ask yourself if you are still a person. So what I do, no, I find ways to really kanang unwind, no? And we have our own ways of unwinding. For introvert people, sometimes being alone and being private, no, to yourself is enough. Okay? So lalain man ta og style to unwind, no? But I don't really believe nga unwinding means mag-inom-inom ka, or you spend more time in the disco, or to travel in very far areas. For me, that's a little bit of a stress. Kay ni humana na kapoy yung gyapon, wa mo gapoy. There is no really, it's not my own definition of rest. But again, we are different from each other, no? Our resiliency and our means to understand our own self as to how we best adapt to things is different from person to person. So we explore all those things, no, in the context of a child. How do we make sure that the child is capable of doing that? No, helping them understand themselves better. Okay? So those are the things that we can do for this intermediate outcome 4. Okay? So another thing is kaning, if we go to the enabling mechanisms, no, we have to understand that the enabling mechanisms is the system that we create, no, and what kind of system would that be? Okay, so kaning EM are divided into different enabling mechanisms already. So for instance, education leaders and managers practice participative and inclusive management processes. So daghana maigoan ni, no? So what do you mean by participative and inclusive? These are very heavy words. You should not make decisions on your own. You should listen to your people. You should listen to your customers. you let them participate, you take your information from the grassroots and understand how they want your implementation to be. Okay? In order for you to create a program which is relevant and appropriate to the required skills and competencies. The ability to listen is very easy to say. Okay? Sige, you listen to them, whatever they say. Pero the tendency of so many leaders is they just pretend to listen, but they listen to counter, to create a counter argument with the person who is talking. They are not really listening to understand the plight of the person. So that's the problem there, if that's the sickness that our leaders usually acquire, as they tend to age in the position. Okay, so I'm happy that this is written here. Okay, but lagi sometimes words that are written are not really understood well. But hopefully kita start it with ourselves. Okay, and then change you should start with ourselves, man, diba? If we want to change the system, we have to start with ourselves. So we start listening really to the people. Okay, so there are many things that we do not know. That's why we have to ask our people. We need to listen to them because there are experts. For example, under the division structure, it is expected there are experts in particular fields. Like under the assistant superintendent are experts in administrative laws. Okay, we have an expert in human resource management. In the name of your human resource personnel, kanang administrative officer nimo, 4 man siguro na 5. And there are also majors or experts in the field of your senior education program specialist, kaning mga sa SGOD nga side, which you can consult, but sometimes the problem comes in when they don't play their role well. Okay, so that's why you have to really listen to them because they are considered practitioners and experts in that particular field. Even in law, the agency's decision on things are considered they are assumed to be compliant to the rules and regulations. There is an assumption of regularity. That's how we call it. Okay, so that's important for us to know. So like for example, kinsa gani si Ma'am Jennifer ang multi-grade is 8x9, or combination of classrooms. So kanisang mga buildings, we have an engineer who is capable of sharing about this. Okay, so you have, as a school head ba, you have to be very open because at the same time you do not know everything, but as to management side, okay, kay kamo man gyud school head are mini superintendents. Even you have higher positions than me because you are superintendents. Ako, I still have to confer, the decision maker is not me. The assistant superintendent can only decide within the ambit of his chairmanship. For example, under the BAC, we are independent, we decide things as a committee. Onya, recommendatory ra gyapon mi. The person who will decide is the head of the procuring entity, which is the superintendent. That's why very limited gyapon ang imuhang ability to really do things. But the one who makes decision is the superintendent. So all these things are passed to that person, and then recommendatory lang, But your recommendation should be based on law. So knowledge on the law is also important, And samot kamo. Remember, you as school heads are decision makers. Do you listen to your people? Do you make decisions nga not favoring lang your favorites? Because if you do that, ako honestly, I'll share that to you if you are in the position already, normally people will really flock towards you. Okay? They will try to convince you to really be with them. Pero the question is, who will be there for you when you are at your lowest? Honestly, there will be none. Even your closest can turn traitor. Wala gid ka. So ideally gid you should have. You should detach yourselves from everyone else. As much as possible, your closest person should be another school head. But the problem with us is they are very far away. Okay, you're the only principal in your school, man. Diba? And anyone below you, if you favor them and choose to be close with them, you will create that partition among your people. Okay? So better not be close to anyone. Okay, that's just my own opinion ha, but as per observation, if you get close to a particular group, okay, the tendency is you will cause division and factions, okay, in your group. So better be neutral, no, not too close, but this I'm not saying ha nga mangaway ka na you will be very mean to everyone or you will not go. Just use your skills also at the same time, but never too close, because honestly, human as we are, we would try to be very close. We will try to make friends, no. But if you get too close to people, no, your decisions will be affected. Okay, and you should not decide based on closeness, but based on what is best, no, for your people and for the learners. So you have to, you have to learn how to be lonely. So on the top, it is really lonely. No, honestly lang, true friends are rare, and if there are, they are far away. Okay, so most na blessing sa mga introvert, because by default we are happy being alone, no, that's our normal, no, that's our comfort zone. Lagi case to face basis gina siya, no. So you look at yourself, no, how do you deal mostly to things, no. Pero make sure that your leadership will not create factions from your people. Okay, because if you'll be able to create that faction, no, and all of them will be mag-away-away na noon, you are not a uniting leader, no. Okay, so that will cause problems later on. Okay, thank you for your insights ha. Then we have enabling, balik naman taan ni. Okay, so participative, no. So you should be able to listen to your people. Ang second nga enabling mechanism is, remember ha, this is how you should govern your school. Okay, the human resources in all governance levels are sufficient, resilient, competent, and continuously improving. I can't emphasize this enough. This is very important, because when you say sufficient, resilient, competent, and continuously improving, it means that you should continue changing the system in order to meet, no, the requirements of your people and the needs of your projects, no, activities, etc. Okay, so whatever it is in the 4 programs, no, in the name of quality, equity, so patong una, equity, resiliency, in the name of all those things, access, etc. All those things should be, your governance among all those things should be nimble enough, no, resilient enough, and it should be continuously improving. Okay. So how do you apply CI? No, I have a video on continuous improvement. You can apply that. But honestly, CI is more of a philosophy rather than it could also be a research methodology. On the context of the Department of Education, it is a methodology, but it's also a philosophy. You have to understand that you need to continuously improve your system. Okay? But if you think your system is perfect and you are the smartest of them all already, of course, you won't change your system, because you will think your system is the best already. Okay? So, kana lang ha, the mere assumption in your mind that your system works will lead you to believing that your system should not change. And most of the people are blinded that they already have this belief. Okay? So, for instance, no, the system I implemented in my school honestly just only works for that particular school, because it's tailored fit, no, for that particular school. If I am assigned to an elementary school, do you think I will monitor the teachers nga kanang for every subject matter, especially for kindergarten, wherein usa ra gyud ka teacher for the whole morning, no, another whole teacher for the afternoon, ba? So it has a different context. So your innovation will be different. But if you are in high school, the problem there is that per hour you have a different teacher. Now, how do you ensure the smooth transition from one teacher to another? No, and sometimes ang ubang teacher dugay mosulod kay nagchismis pa sa faculty room. No, so that will take time, And then, without any cue to tell them that they have to go there, no, innocent lang ba nga, wala na bantayan ang time. Pila ray, chika-chika. Bitaw-bitaw kita. We started at 2:30. Munsa naman taron? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 hours na. Pila ray, chika-chika, di ba? Naabtantag pila ka oras. But all of you are still listening, no? So, thank you for that, no? I'm happy that you're listening because kani mga tao nga maminaw are the ones that are willing to improve and to change, no? So mo gini kasagaran pattern, no, for those who are willing to engage in an academic discussion. Okay, so I hope you are also visualizing, no, as a school head, what is your purpose, what is the change that you want to really implement, no? Okay, the same, no, you look for people whom you can share your insights and most probably share things about the Department of Education, how you do things. You can only draw strength from each other. Your best friends are really far away because those who have the same work as yours are found in a next school. Now, if you're the principal, then the next person whom you can really confide with is found in the next school. You cannot confide with your teachers. Ayaw mo ha, don't confide with your teachers because if you confide with them, that's where favoritism starts. No? So, just keep it to yourself because although sometimes you have to talk to them good kay kana wala sa kag nag-gather information because they cannot say no to you, but you have to understand the system that you are in. You have to understand who is close to this because that's part of leadership. Okay, but honestly you have to avoid, no, a leadership which is dividing, no, not unifying. Okay, so that's it's clear ha, EM1 and EM2. So EM1, you try to be participative, you consult your people. EM2, you try to make sure that you are continuously improving. For EM3, you do investments in basic education, provide learners with ideal learning environment. So that's very important. I can emphasize this enough. No? Imagine we are given classrooms, no, which are substandard. No, I think our colleagues here has shared, no, the standards. Raul and Ma'am Jennifer, no, Ma'am Jen has shared the standard for classroom and then the classroom for kuan. Imagine EM3, no, palangdaan sometimes is very problematic already. So at least, no, DepEd has already recognized this, and I think if you listen to Sarah, she's aligning the matatag initiative to this, no, investments in the basic education provide learners with ideal learning environment. So let's pray, no, the ones that we have wishful thinking, no, we will be given a principal's office, a canteen, include the HE room, the laboratories. That should be part and parcel of any school, because what kind of school will have no fence, no CR, no facilities? Diba? So that is something kuan. So hopefully this will be provided to us because this is not within the ambit of our powers, no, to implement. Okay, let's talk about enabling mechanism 4. Improve and modernize internal systems and processes for a responsive and efficient financial resource management. Okay, so this is important. Our ability to manage the money of the school. Okay, imagine that is the only resource that is very important for you in the school. So that's why you have to really manage it well. Corruption as to these things because it will cause, no, a deprivation of the resources that is intended for the learners. Gamay naman lang gani kayong resources. The resources is very meager, no, very problematic in terms of resources. But if it will undergo corruption, no, and it's not maximized, then who will stand together with our learners? So let's make sure, no, that the resources really are efficient, no, financial resource management good. Okay, and then EM5, key stakeholders actively collaborate. No, enabling mechanism is that they are actively collaborating. So again, our skills in dealing with other people is very important. So these are the things that we have planned, no, in order just to save our learners. And we always emphasize to our learners that as long as you are there under our wing, we will do our best to bring you back in the school. And then we implemented games, no? these students are not really staying in the school because they find the school boring. No, they find the school boring. Good. So we encourage games among the teachers. No, during our LAC session, we share strategies, how to integrate, how to relate, no, and how to create in overall. Now, these are strategies that we can use. No, we use the gamified version. No, the principles of gamification. You try to research that. What is it in the games that children would really love to play? Like in Mobile Legends, imagine ako I am top 13 in my character, no, here in our sitio, no. So top 13 ko niya. I only play once every week. So if I play every day, my ranking in our area will rise up. So that is really competition, no? When you gamify things, learners will tend to compete better and do their best. So to put away with the competition nga kanang murag ma-feel sila nga maulawan sila, you just post the top 5, no, and all the kuan. Those who have perfect attendance will be recognized for the week, no? And one of the strategies I'll just share to you, it started with my own pocket, no? And we started implementing this in my second school. If they reach the afternoon session at 3 o'clock exactly, kay last session naman lang ang 3 to 4. If they reach that session with complete attendance, they will receive free snacks, no? The whole classroom will receive free snacks. And the idea is, pila ray pan, 5 ra ang pan, di ba? So in high school manggod, in the afternoon, the boys will evaporate, no? They will evaporate and then they will appear again on the next day. They will just attend the morning session. So if they have complete attendance, they will be given snacks. And then I will recognize the classroom with perfect attendance in the afternoon. And they will be given snacks, no? Free snacks, no? Pila ray pan. So we requested the barangay counselors to sponsor first, and then it all started with my sponsorship. And then I think one classroom there are only 5, no? So 5 pesos pa man ang pan during that time, unlike today, 8 pesos na. 5 times 45, no? So that's, or how, 50 ba ron? So 5 times 50. So 250 ra. So it's not a huge kanang problem in terms of funds. So we spent that reward, no, and just reward to the classroom with perfect attendance, and as a result, sa resulta, they always have perfect attendance. So very small actions in our part, no, that helps ensure that our schools, no, are responsive. At the same time, we involve key stakeholders, no? Okay, so ingana, your innovation should involve the key stakeholders. Okay, and you should be able to deal with them properly so that funds will pour towards your school, because MOE is not really enough. By the way, I just want to take this opportunity to share this to you. Even if it's donated, no, make sure if you spend that money, you really spend it using, attach the necessary documents as if you are spending it with the MOE. Okay, because there is a court ruling on this. No nga, ang story or the case facts goes this way. There was a portion in the school which was rented, no, or leased, no. But technically, you are not allowed to lease, okay? But the Supreme Court did not really dealt with that aspect. Now, the rent was 30,000 per month because it's a drugstore. No, it's a drugstore. It's a big drugstore. It is one of the known drugstore. Okay? And then they gave 30,000 to the school head. Now, 30,000 is a huge amount. But the thing is, he also allowed another drugstore to rent another portion which offered 100,000, but their original agreement was that it will only be, the area will only be given to them without any competition. Now, what happened next? Syempre, nasuko ang the first one who did the contract was annoyed and was angry because the agreement was there will be no others who will rent the area. Okay, so he already received 100,000 and 30,000. Do you know what he used for the 100,000 and 30,000? It's a novel. It's something very useful to the students. He bought all the classrooms with television, and a sound system for each classroom. Okay? Is that good? Yes, I agree. It's very necessary. Okay. Kung ako is, if I am the principal or the teacher, I would want to have PowerPoint presentation, because if I will talk here without any visual aids, that will be very boring, no? At least there are notes you can read afterwards. Okay? That's a good thing. But he spent the money without even liquidating it. Okay. Now, you read RA 9184. Okay? It says that government money should be procured, no, properly. And you have to really conduct alternative modes of procurement or competitive bidding. So, if you want to learn about that, you watch my YouTube video about alternative modes of procurement. Daghan kaya na kasagaran shopping ra gid ninyong hibaw-an, wherein there is small value procurement, etc. ha. But by virtue of 9184, you are to spend that money using competitive bidding, especially if it's above 500,000. Okay? Although kana siya 130,000 man, so that within the ambit of alternative modes of procurement. Okay? So therefore, if you fail to do that, even if you spent the money for the benefit of the learners, you did not follow RA 9184 as to how you spend that money, you will be liable by law. Okay? Unya na priso gid down to ang principal because of what he did. Okay, so take note lang ha, as members of the F&G Learning Hub, we wanted to protect you. We don't want you to be viral because, or to be mentioned in the Supreme Court because you did not know the law, because we are here to help you with that. Okay, so just be aware, no, you are not allowed to spend it, especially government funds, without reading RA 9184. If you don't know what is RA 9184, it is the basis for your yung shopping, yung SVP, small value procurement, kanang BAC. That is the legal basis for all the conduct of all those things. Okay? So, for EM6 or the Enabling Mechanism 6, public and private education operate under a dynamic and responsive complementarity framework. So, what does that mean? It means reinforce the role of private education to reinforce the role of the private education. So, as much as possible, this is a continuation of EM5, that you need to collaborate to help each other. But you have also to look at a dynamic and responsive complementarity framework. It means that you really need to work together in order to implement the basic education. Dapat hands-on yun ang mga stakeholders. Let's take note of this. The mandates of the DepEd operating units, as defined by existing laws and policies, shall serve as guidance in identifying their contributions to achieve the enabling mechanisms performance indicators. So, the office functions, okay, so dapat ma-align siya sa RPMS. There is an alignment clause here that we need to really understand. So, hopefully, all this will be aligned in the PPSH, but there's no guidelines yet issued for the PPSH for school heads. Although, the strands are already provided, but the objectives were not provided yet. So, sige lang, we are waiting for that. Ha? And the BMIF shall guide the offices in developing their respective M&E plans. No? So, do you have already your M&E plans? So, actually, in this DepEd order, you are mandated to create one. So, your theme should align with the IOs. What is IO? Intermediate outcomes, ha? Then, whatever is the enabling mechanism, please take note of that. So, if your M&E plan does not capture, no, I'm not referring to the SIP M&E plan, ha, although if integrated na gina siya, pero ang pangutan lang, inyong SIP wala magyapon na align pa sa kaning M&E nga issuance. So please take note. Okay? So we look at here in terms of DepEd performance, no? So, naatay mga Tier 1 and Tier 2 indicators. So, kani Tier 1 are those that are readily available already. So, we can compute. Ang Tier 2, those currently under development. So, naapay mga under development pa. And Tier 3 are indicators that are yet to be developed. Okay? So, take note of those indicators. Usually, Tier 1 lang sa ato ang i-measure. But, take note, these are all agency guidelines. Meaning, it's the overall DepEd, no? Okay, so if we look at here, mo ni siya ha. For each of the IO, for example, 'di ba? We talk about enabling or intermediate outcomes here, no? And then we will look at the performance indicator. So it's the NER or the net enrollment rate and the gross enrollment rate. And we have already prepared a description to that, no? Naana diri ang description. And then when it should be collected, okay? And then what will be the division of data, no? Or the aggregation of data mo itawag na to ana, like level of education, kindergarten, elementary, no? It's very clear already, no? That's the good thing about this DepEd order. Yeah, and sa pag-compute sa gross enrollment rate. Do you remember you are asked to compute the performance indicators of your school? No. Take note ha, you will not follow the old one. Follow this, okay? Because this is the latest now. Okay? So these are aligned already. The performance indicator should be based on this. And then it also tells us nga ang net enrollment rate and the gross enrollment rate are indicators of the enabling intermediate outcome 1. No, wherein it deals with access. Okay? So take note of this, no nga it is refers to the enrollment. So you really need the actual enrollment of those the enrollment of those who were the number of those who were able to enroll over the total population according to the national regulations, no? So kinahanglan magbase gyud ka sa atong gitawag og National Statistics Authority. So basically, what you will see here is that it is already clearly delineated. As to the intermediate outcomes, we know already exactly how we're going to measure it. No, imagine that's how well it is being created, no? May salute to the our previous secretary. This is her initiative. Then for intermediate outcome 1.1, you're also going to measure all the 5-year-old children in school and then net intake rate. So this is now already how you're going to compute it, no? And then everything there, no, under enabling intermediate outcome 1. So take note lang ha, this 8 and 9, no, the data should come from the Philippine Statistics Authority. Okay, you're not allowed to actually gather data aside from that. No, this is a very important guideline for me lang because the previous data that we have, di ba kamukha mo rin magbuot. You don't have basis for the net enrollment, no. But the thing is, this will be provided to us because this is agency level indicators. Okay? So next will be for imagine this for intermediate outcome 3 and 4 there for intermediate outcome 1 there are many indicators that includes transition, participation rate, okay, and there is a very clear description about how each is computed. So please know, if you want to learn more about this, please read exactly how it is computed. Okay, but here is the start of intermediate outcome number 2. So try to remember what is number 2. Diba number 2 is all about equity. Number 1 is all about access. So, yes. So, here, the proportion of learners, situation of disadvantage transition to the next stage. So, for example, you have the case of students who are of disadvantage, like the indigenous learners. No? So you try to see, you try also to read RA 8044. It's found here. No, the Youth in Nation Building Act, no. So the National Youth Commission, no, na sila data regarding that, no. So you can look at disparity in transition rate and disparity in transition rate. So learners in situation disadvantage refers to the one who are most vulnerable, disadvantage in terms of access to learning. So siguro daghan mga disadvantage. So they will try to specify who will we measure, no. So actually, iyang gi-specify diri like the out-of-school youth, distressed individuals and families, including internally displaced personas, okay, etc. For your intermediate outcome number 2, naasa kay lain diri like retention rate of learners in situation of disadvantage. So, to be developed pa ni siya. So, retention, actually, no, honestly, para lang nako, no, it's more important to be measure retention rate because ang retention rate, dili mo matter if that person is really promoted. what is really important is that the child stays with us. Okay? Rather than using the dropout rate as measure, why don't we measure retention rate better? Because retention rate, we don't take it against the teachers magod kung mo drop out. What we wanted to do is to let them really stay in the school, no? So as much as possible, just measure the retention rate, because that is where we encourage students to really stay in our system, no? Bahalag di sila, as long as they don't really fully drop out, no? It will not be taken against them if, or against our system or our school, if they just stay in school. Okay? So if you read DepEd Order 8 series of 2015, try to read that. If you fail in one subject, no, you will have to take the summer, no? Or you will have to take remedial classes. Now, if you fail on your remedial class, what's the consequence again? If you can still remember. If you fail in your remedial class, nag-remedial na ka, if you fail in your remedial class, what happens? If you read DepEd Order 8, that's a must read, to everyone. Can you use the chat box to answer? Kindly read that. Let's say, for example, you failed only in one subject. Now, if you failed to pass your remedial class, okay, what will happen to the child na naa siya usa ka failure? Do you still remember? Sige. Can you check DepEd Order 8, series of 2015? Are you going to be promoted? Is there a provision for conditionally promoted? For final grade of at least 75 in all learning areas, what will you do? Promote to the next grade level. Did not meet expectation in not more than 2 learning areas. So, meaning 1 lang nakapasar. Are you following? Usara ang wa niya napasaran or duha. Okay. Must pass the remedial class for the learning areas with failing mark to be promoted to the next grade level. Otherwise, the learner is retained in the same grade level. Okay? Are you realizing things with me now? No? So, what do you mean? No? So, it means, imagine ang bata, You think with me. I only failed with one subject, English, because I don't know how to speak English. Sorry kaayo, ma'am. So, wala na din ka, okay, since you failed in English, I'm going to fail you. You've already failed, so you have to take remedial class. So, we see here, remedial class. Sige. Okay, the next question is, it says here, for learning areas with failing mark to be promoted to the next grade level. Otherwise, what does otherwise mean? Meaning, if it doesn't happen that you pass the remedial class, the child will be retained on the same grade level. Retained. So, when you say retained, are you going to conditionally promote the child? Okay? So, think about it. No? There's no conditional promotion in our current system. If they fail in one subject, they will have to retake all subjects again. Okay? And that's the problem with us, no? We tend to misinterpret DepEd Order 8, and since it is very strict, actually DepEd Order 8 is very strict. No? Okay, even if you already passed those subjects, you have to, what does retain mean? Di ba you have to take all the subjects again? Okay? Then automatic, if you did not meet expectations in 3 or more learning areas, you are automatically retained in the same grade level. Meaning, you will have to take all the subjects again. That is the new system since 2015. But what is happening now? No, it's very strict. You know why? Because ideally, in the middle of the grading period, you are to ensure that your learners pass. Okay? But basically, what happens here is that you have given a lot of chance already. So please, no, as implementers of the new system, since 2015, 8 years ago na niya, okay, 8 years ago na niya niya, I've noticed some of, even before, no, I've noticed nga naapay conditionally promote, naapay bata nga, kanang mingon nga, sir, kanang, may I come into the school at 2 o'clock? Ha? Manong 2 o'clock raman ka mo, ari? Sir, I have my class sir, English na lagmat. Manalay kuwang nako. Inko, where in the world did you who who told you nga you were conditionally promoted? Sir, my teacher before and my principal before. Oh, say, mo na no, wrong interpretation, wrong wrong interpretation of the memorandum. No, it usually results to blunders no with our system. So basically, abot ako sa mga questions dali. Okay. So basically, retention rate is important, no? Okay. So you look at here. Okay, the same idea, no? All the transition rate, participation rate are given, no? So we measure. I hope that's an eye opener to everyone, ha. So ani lang siya. Kung 3 na gani ang hagbong, automatic i-redo the whole grading period. Okay. You really read depth and order 8, no? The same is true even in ang kuan lang ang sa senior high, if I will be allowed to kuan lang. For senior high, for grade 11, final grade of at least 75 in all learning areas and semesters can proceed to the next semester. Did not meet expectations in prerequisite subject in a learning area, you must pass the remedial class for failed competencies in the subject before being allowed to enroll in the higher level subject. So, did not meet expectations in any subject or at the end of the semester must pass remedial classes for failed competencies in the subject areas or allowed to enroll in the next semester. Otherwise, the learner must retake the subjects failed. No? So, i-retake ra niya. So, ang grade 11, 12, mura siya og kanang college style ba? Okay? Pero, for the others, no, from grade 4 to 10, no, same principle. Okay? It's more strict. Okay? Were you surprised about the guidelines? Okay, by the way, di ba ginawa ang depth and order 8 ha? Okay, so tingnan ninyo inyong mga principal, if naaman or if you are the principal, you start reading na lang. Doon ay na lang mo pagsalig sa ako ang own interpretation. You try to read it on your own, no? You read the depth and order 8 you have to read it page by page, no? Because it was not ever rescinded. No, the only change implemented was through the interim, but interim by its word means it is temporary and it was already removed, no? So the interim guidelines provides for itong paminahon ng mga estudyante, we listen to them, we adjust, no, and then it removed the quarterly assessment. And now it's back already. I'm not sure. No, but some of the schools are implementing the quarterly assessment, but I haven't read the issuance or I just miss it. No, if you read it, you can place it in the chat box. If there was an issuance already about assessment, putting back quarterly assessment. Okay, but for now, I'm not sure if the interim guidelines was rescinded. Okay, so again, these are just repetitions. No, for EO3 or the intermediate intermediate outcome 3, it's remember this is for quality. So tanawa completion rate. So makomplete niya. And then we also have at least there is minimum level of proficiency in English, no? And then remember that the frequency of data is to be developed. Data reporting is still to be developed, meaning it has to undergo a process. Okay, kanigod siya, that's standardized test. Okay, quality maguding 3. Okay, so numeracy skills, no? So hopefully and praying this will be addressed, no, using really honest measures. Okay, ang 4, they are resilient, no? Resiliency ni ang 4. So satisfaction rate. Okay, and then how do you measure the mechanisms? So, naadari proportion of schools achieving the ideal SBM level of practice. But take note, SBM has been put on hold, no? But mingon gani kag put on hold, no? It's put into abeyance because there will be guidelines, and hopefully teachers won't be too overwhelmed, no? To measure all this preparing the MOVs, no? Because they will just spend their time doing the MOVs instead of teaching our learners. So honestly, that could be a problem. Then we have here resources, proportion of offices with at least satisfactory performance commitment of the OPCRF. I think that's not a good measure. No, honestly. Okay. Hopefully they will change this. And then investment of basic education provide learners with ideal learning environment. Okay, this is a good measure. No? Proportion of schools with connection electricity. Hi, salamat. Connection to internet, very good. Water and sanitation. No, with proportion with schools with functional library and faculty and teachers room. Why not add principal's office here? Okay, let's just pray. And then proportion of SDOs achieving ideal interquartile ratio. And then a client satisfactory rating of the DepEd offices. Okay, and then 5 here percentage of increase of financial contribution. Okay? So those are the things, no? But take note of this last provision, ha? The above mentioned. Okay. So I should have not placed some effects here. The above mentioned indicators of agency level indicators that reflect our global and national commitments as well as DepEd, all operating units shall ensure that their plans. Okay, we're done with this. Okay. So the thing is, it is within the ambit of what you call agency level indicators. So you have to make your own, but you can also adapt, no, their indicators. Alright, so kanisha ato lang ni i-run through, ha. Just want you to see how you have to create your M&E plan. Okay? So types of monitoring nga pwede nimo mabuhat, like what are the types of M&E? So you do monitoring and then process evaluation and results evaluation. So unsa man ning monitoring? You just steer the implementation of the programs, projects and activities. Okay? Frequency will be based on your M&E plan, should be based on their context. Okay? And then if you're familiar with the PMIS in the division level na ataan ni. So hopefully you are also implementing in your schools, pero I'm not sure if the system is also applicable to schools. Okay. So anyway, agency level man, no, determines the effectiveness and efficiency of the implementation. So kaning process evaluation, we talk about processes and systems implemented, and we try to make sure that these systems are really getting to the end result that we want. No, muna process evaluation. Ang process evaluation focuses in measuring the realization of results. So, kabantay mo sa itong mga indicators that we measured a while ago. These are the results that we want. In management, there are two kinds of indicators. We call them the lag indicators. No, the lag indicators are the ones that comes in late. No, which are the end result of what we want. Okay, but there are also what you call behavioral indicators that you can use in order for you to get your lag indicators. Give you an example, ha. Di ba you want to lose weight? No, because for the Valentine's Day lang, you want to lose weight because you want to look sexy during the Valentine's Day. Now, your lag indicator is your weight, no? But you don't measure your weight every day. You know why? Because mukha og kag inasal karon tagtaod, no? You will be very full that you will weight heavier than an hour ago. Okay, so honestly, measuring the lag indicators every now and then is not good. But your behavioral indicators could be something that you can use to measure your performance. For instance, you can make sure that you eat properly. No, you eat only healthy food. But it was very beneficial to me. Okay? But these indicators, no, going back to the indicators, I just made sure, no, I'm already doing it for 2 years now. I only make sure, no, that the indicators, no, for example, I take up my vitamins. These are behavioral indicators. I do every day. I make sure that I only eat at 12 o'clock. So that's behavioral indicator. No, I make sure that I eat at least one grow, and glow food. No, balanced diet all the time. Okay? So, basta mag-intermittent fasting ka, and after you do intermittent fasting, you also eat very unhealthy food like junk foods, etc. That's a recipe for kanang going to heaven. If you want to go to heaven early, so you may do that, no? But if you do intermittent fasting, you need to eat healthy. Okay? Then no, results evaluation na. So you look at after measuring the indicators for, following the behavioral indicators for a long time, you can do the results evaluation already. Okay? Katong mga lag indicators nimo. I would just like to emphasize this, ha. All DepEd operating units across governance level shall conduct process evaluation. However, the conduct of outcome and impact evaluation of programs and projects and major activities shall be done by internal and external parties. Can you remember the speech of Vice President? Who were the ones who shared about the problems of the department? Did you notice it came from an external source? Okay, so watch out na ta kato ganing mga involved of corruption. It is not the DepEd who will investigate. It will be an external party. And this is because our Vice President is a lawyer. He knows that these people will be biased. Okay? So, ang measure sa atong mga indicators will not be from the Department of Education. There will be internal and external. No? So, duha siya. So that you can make sure that we have really achieved. No? And I think this is a very good level of change kay kasagaran sa una ang mo measure rasad kita-kita rasad mo rate, and then kita-kita rasad mo ingon nga okay ra siguro ta no. Ang resulta, if we attend possible activities, no, like for example the PISA in a worldwide level, na makita na dayon second to the last na dayon ang show, no. So the M&E plan, this is what it will contain, ha. 4 core processes that are critical in conducting SMEA. So, we have mentioned that kato ganing katong process evaluation, etc. Establishment of scope and purpose of the M&E, kinahanglan imo na siyang i-establish. Data collection and management, your data analysis that you're going to use, the M&E results and reporting. So, take note, tools of data collection and record should be guided by the M&E plan to the established program, policy, and plan. So, everything you do should be based on the M&E plan. Okay, so kanilang ako lang ipakita ninyo, but in the DepEd order na adiha ang sa division, regional, no. So kinsa may honor, no. The M&E system so provide school heads, teachers, no. Dayon ang M&E katong kinsay mo take the lead, no. It is the school head that will take the lead, no. And you have to really implement it. So i-ensure lang nga you understand all of these things, ha. Kani siya. Aning tanan nga naa diri. Okay? So, i-link yun siya sa performance, etc. Okay? Kanina ay, the school head shall be the overall lead and process owner of the school M&E system. Do not forget that. Shall have the authority, accountability, and responsibility for ensuring information generated is used in the development and implementation of plans. No? So, ikimo lead, ha? Ikimo provide decision, communicate, oversee, engage, conduct quarterly program implementation. By the way, the guidelines for the program implementation review will be released in another DepEd order. Then I tried to look for it. Wala ko kakita. Basig na amoy nakitaan, please share it, ha. Then maintain records, then OPCRF, develop M&E plan, no. Kanang pag-maintain sa inyo mga IPCRF and plan for transparency, learning action cells, kinahanglan, you have to keep that because it's mandated in this DepEd order. Okay? Okay, school personnel, no, mo ni mga responsibility. So if you want to discuss this to them, make sure that you share this to them so that they can start implementing this DepEd order. Okay? I think that ends, no, my discussion.